just for bearings, 347th Street around the Creighton area, southward, this little area right in through there near Highway Double B, all right, just towards the north of Missouri 18. That's the little area right there. It's right literally on that 3-county line of Cass, Bates, and Henry County. Right in through there, that's the main area of concern with that storm moving off towards the east-northeast. Got another tornado warning. Again, this is up towards Jackson County and points east of there. Let's get back over to Jacob. Jacob.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Yeah, so again, kind of two active tornado warnings right now. Joe's been showing you the one down near Creighton in southern Cass County, and this warning goes until midnight as well there for 7 Highway. The north warning is what I'm keeping an eye on. Just got a report from our producer that about 5,000 customers in Jackson County without power. That is likely in eastern Jackson County, where there might have been a brief tornado just near Grain Valley and Blue Springs. The warning extends all the way to 13 Highway up towards Richmond and all the way to Lexington along 24 Highway in the Missouri River. So I'm watching rotation here. This tornado warning goes until midnight and includes over 85,000 people out here from Oak Grove into Lafayette and southern Ray County. And I'm watching this little notch with actually an uptick in lightning here in the last moment or two. And if there's still a tornado on the ground, this is where it would be just approaching the Napoleon neighborhood that I've circled there. So right now, this would be, say, on Outer Belt Road and North County Road H, just south of 24 Highway between Buckner and Napoleon. Highway D, up towards Napoleon and Wellington. This is about to cross the Missouri River, too, by the way. We've got Ray County to the north. Right now, this rotation moving from Jackson County to Lafayette County and the corner of Ray County. So we're watching this rotation. It moves up towards the north, and it's heading towards, say, the Henrietta area and Richmond area. And I do want to put a storm track on this for us. It's moving at about 50 miles per hour. And current ETA here for Richmond is still right around or before midnight. Napoleon here in the next 5 minutes or less. So Napoleon here, if you live near the Missouri River between Ray and Lafayette County, go ahead and seek your tornado shelter as this possible tornado is moving up towards the north. It's about to exit Jackson County back towards Oak Grove and Grain Valley. I think we're now in the all clear. This is now up towards 24 Highway and the Missouri River. On the wind mode, I can still see some strong winds. And when we query these, I'm getting, say, wind estimates close to 70 miles per hour. So even if this is not a tornado, it looks like that there's still going to be some damaging winds with this. And we have a new tornado warning as well. I'll go back over to Joe for that.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little further up towards the north, and we just got a report south of Creighton of a funnel cloud. So we're watching this new tornado warning now for Johnson County. This is on the Missouri side, Johnson County. Over on the Missouri side, again, this is all radar indicated, nothing confirmed with this, but we've got a couple of notches that we're watching. One towards the north of Kingsville, one around Kingsville. Both those little notches moving off towards the east-northeast. Here's 131, so this is west of 131, in and near the Kingsville area. Points up towards the north. This would be east of Strasburg. This is Missouri 58 for your bearings. Here's US 50. So if you live roughly between US 50 and down towards 58 in that general block, west of Centerview, near and west of Centerview to Kingsville, that little rectangle, if you will, sort of rectangle, I want you to go ahead and take cover from this storm. This is Johnson County on the Missouri side, where we have a tornado warning now in effect up until about 12:15 rather, I should mention. Also getting reports of maybe some impressive rotation showing up on radar over towards Napoleon, Missouri. Want to backtrack and get you through this particular part of the tornado warning. And again, this is the little couplet that might be just towards the north of Kingsville. Not a lot in that path. Fayetteville, 1205 would be one possible thing with that. And then here's that other one that's near the Kingsville area, also moving off towards the east-northeast. That doesn't appear to be affecting anybody, at least not in the next few minutes, unless you live along that 131 highway corridor south of US 50. So again, this is a new tornado warning. That's going to go up until about 12:15 as well for Johnson County over on the Missouri side. Johnson County on the Missouri side, you are now also under a tornado warning. We also have these little areas that Jacob has been watching near Napoleon. These little red blotches if you will, perhaps some areas of rotation, these little spin-ups that we're watching around and just towards the south of Napoleon, near and west of Highway D, and just towards, generally towards the north of Highway WDAF. So right in through there, that's the area that Jacob has been watching. Let's get over to him for an update on that. Jacob.
Yeah, Joe, so the National Weather Service saying that there's a pretty good indication that there may be a tornado here near Napoleon. This is right on the Missouri River, and we are in Lafayette County here, Highway D, there's 24 Highway, and then Ray County up north of the river, there's Fleming and Highway T. So the rotation where the tornado is likely has just crossed the Missouri River into southern Ray County. So this is the rotation here. It's just passed through Napoleon and is now entering into Ray County. And there's almost a little bit of a hook there, and I'm kind of going to highlight this for you. This is something that we look for when we're tracking a tornado here in this line of thunderstorms, because it's showing us that there's a little bit of inflow. The tornado is trying to wrap in, or the storm is trying to wrap in some air, and then it's swirling out ahead of it. And this tornado, if it's on the ground, is right over the Missouri River between Fleming and Wellington. So Richmond, Henrietta, Lexington, go ahead and seek shelter now. An interior room away from outside doors and windows. If you have a basement, that's a good place to go, because this possible tornado still could be on the ground as it moves towards Henrietta and 13 Highway. So Richmond, go ahead and seek your safe place. Between Richmond and Lexington, that's where the threat is going to be the highest here over the next couple of minutes. I'm going to check in on our wind mode here. And there's the update. It looks like that there's possibly two areas of rotation, one near Orick and one near Wellington. And so this is something that we're going to have to watch too. These storms, as they move along the line, can really kind of evolve and move around here. It's not like a classic supercell where there's one tornado that we're tracking. It's all these spin-ups, and this one near Napoleon is tracking along the river up towards Main Street, Highway H into Henrietta. There's another weak rotation near Orick on 210 Highway. And we still have active tornado warnings further south into Johnson and Henry County, Missouri, and Joe's keeping a close eye on those storms as well.
Yeah, so the storms that is of concern further south, as Jacob was mentioning, this is now northwestern Henry County on the Missouri side, southwestern portions of Johnson County. So Johnson County is really actually on the Missouri side under two different tornado warnings. The one that had a funnel cloud just towards the south of Creighton, it's still showing signs of rotation, perhaps not quite as beefy as it was just a little while ago. That was a concern. And that's kind of the history of these things. These are not necessarily those big honker tornadoes that we could track for an hour or 2 hours. These things are much more transient, way more brief. If they even come down, they come down. Perhaps they do a little damage and then they're gone in the next 5 minutes. So again, we're just kind of watching, and that's why we're just kind of watching for these little areas of rotation. One right there as well, just towards the east of 131 into the western portion of Johnson County. I'll go ahead and put another track on this particular part of things on that northern edge, if you will, right up through there. Fayetteville, Mount Olive, Allville, between 1205, 1215. I'll move down and take you a little further east of 131, and that's going to be for this part of it, and that's going to be heading towards Fayetteville, perhaps by 1205. Jacob.
Yeah, so Joe, it looks like we got a new tornado warning up here in Ray County. So that second circulation that I was highlighting near Orick, the National Weather Service also saw that exact same thing, and so has extended a new tornado warning for most of Ray County until 12:15. This new warning includes Henrietta, Knoxville, Orick, and Richmond, and this is just over 8,000 people. So we're watching two areas of rotation now in southern Ray County, just off to the east of the Kansas City Metro. And so there's a lot of active spin-up spots, as we were possibly expecting here in the Kansas City Metro through the overnight hours. So I'm going to zoom in here into Ray County, quickly show you these rotational spots and track them out for us. The first one is just to the north of Orick, and it has just crossed over Highway 210 between Orick and Richmond. The second one is approaching Henrietta along the Missouri River. So those are our two rotational spots here in Ray County, and the storm is moving towards the north and east at about 50 miles per hour. So I'll put a storm track on this, and that puts an ETA for Richmond at 11:55. So again, Rayville, Richmond, Henrietta, you should be in your tornado safe place now. I've given you about a 10, 15 minutes heads up. Rayville just before midnight, Dockery 12:02, Millville 12:07. So 2 areas of rotation, a tornado warning for Ray County until 12:15. There's still more active tornado warnings further south, and it looks like we're getting in some possible funnel reports from those as well. So this is what the storm looks like right now, a quick wider view for you. We have 2 tornado warnings further south, 2 a little bit closer to the Missouri River. These are the ones for Ray County, northern Lafayette County. And then Joe's been tracking the ones further south, approaching Warrensburg and also near Creighton, Missouri. So we have 4 tornado warnings just east of the Kansas City metro. All 4 of them have possible quick spin-up embedded tornadoes as we've been forecasting for the potential for tonight. And these are all moving off towards the east. So Joe's got an update on our southern 2 storms.
Yeah, and we'll broaden out the view just a little bit. Actually, we just had our loudest rumble of thunder here at the station, and these storms now are about 30 miles east of Kansas City. It just kind of shows you could still get some pretty loud rumbles of thunder on the backside of this squall line that's moving now through the eastern side of the Kansas City metropolitan area. These are the different warnings, 4 in all. Jacob's been focusing on these 2 guys. Again, around the Oric area, we want you to be sure you're in your safe spot right now. We're getting a little ding of something perhaps a little more significant around Oric, Missouri in the last few minutes. For you folks down in Johnson County, you're technically under, Johnson County, Missouri, technically under 2 different warnings, northwestern quarter, if you will, of Johnson County, including Warrensburg and points northwest. Tornado warning continues till about 12:15. Southwestern Johnson County as well. Northwestern Henry County also under a tornado warning, and that goes until roughly 12:15 as well. And we'll take you with our velocity data down into these storms that are, again, these are all radar indications, but they're decent radar indications. You kind of see the area of concern right there. There's one. All right, that would be north of Holden, near 131, and then down here as well. So a couple of little circulations that we're watching in Johnson County. We'll zoom in. I'll zoom in and see how close we could get to get some relevant information on here for you. This would be Highway 50. There's 131. All right, so right to the south and west of US 50. Moving off, if you know anybody who lives along County Road M, near the 50 highway corridor towards County Road M, all right, east of 131, this would be northwestern Johnson County on the Missouri side. Send them a text, make sure they're aware of what's going on. Midnight, a lot of folks are sleeping, and if the lightning doesn't wake them up, they could sleep through this one, and I hate for them to be in a bad spot if this little guy decides it wants to go ahead and do something that's not so nice. No reports of, at least to my knowledge at this point, of any actual touchdowns with this. We just had a big radar update right there. No reports of any actual touchdowns with this, but it's concerning. Especially this one in northwestern portions of Johnson County. That looks actually a little bit better on the latest data that just got updated. And we're getting indications of winds 45, 50 miles an hour circulating away from the radar. So, it's a problem, and that's something that we need to watch right in through here. And again, that is just towards the west of Highway M, just towards the west of Highway M, and just towards the south of US 50. That's one area of a circulation that we're certainly watching. Haven't seen, like I mentioned, anything confirmed on the ground. We've seen some areas of rotation, but at least so far, aside from maybe some power outages, some tree limbs knocked down, nothing of overly concerning nature with any of these tornado warnings that we've had so far. Now, again, in the middle of the night, something could have been hit. We just don't know about it yet. But again, that's a little area of concern, no doubt, down across the south, or the western portion, I should say, of Johnson County over on the Missouri side. So we're going to continue to monitor that as Jacob continues to monitor what's going on further north with these storms a little further close to the Missouri River. Jacob.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So we're watching this Ray County storm closely. The National Weather Service telling me that there might have been a quick tornado touchdown in Oric in the last 10 minutes, and that's heading right into downtown Richmond, Missouri. So Richmond, you should be in your safe place right now, where there's a potential for a quick tornado here as this line is moving through. And as I zoom in here on our velocity mode, I'm looking for any winds. And sometimes with these quick spin-ups, it can be hard to see. So when I go over to our reflectivity mode or just the regular rain mode, I can see the little bit of a hook here. And there's two of them where we could have two possible tornadoes in Ray County. One moving into downtown Richmond, and then another one moving into Henrietta. So those are the two areas of rotation, one coming in 210 Highway into Richmond, about to cross 13 Highway, and then the second area of rotation coming in Highway H and towards Henrietta there, right at Highway H and Highway 13. So areas along Highway 13 here, but in central and southern Ray County, should still be in your tornado safe place for the next 15 minutes or so. This tornado warning for Ray County goes until 12:15. So we're watching this storm closely. The National Weather Service still giving us updates that this storm further south that Joe's been tracking down into Johnson County, Missouri, still has a pretty strong rotation, Joe, and that's a pretty good indicator, probably the strongest rotation we've seen.
Yeah, that definitely looking a little beefy, and I've actually kind of popped our colors just a little bit more for you, give you an idea what's going on. This is County Road M. This is the northwestern corner of Johnson County. Here's your county line separating Johnson and Lafayette County. So this little area right in through here, all right, that's a definite area of concern. That's going to be just towards the southeast of Lafayette County or I should say of Lake Lafayette by about 7 miles. It's also about 15 miles southwest of Allville, all right, and for the Concordia area, it's about 19 miles west-southwest of Concordia. So that little area right in through there is definitely an item of concern as it continues to move off towards the east-northeast at a pretty good clip. So that's the main concern that we've got right now, particularly for the northwestern or northern portion, if you will, of Johnson County. I'll broaden out the view just a little bit more for you. You could see very clearly that area of rotation. We'll put a storm track on this as well, just to kind of extend it out since it looks a little beefier than some of these other cells that we've been watching. Just a heads up for Concordia, 12:20, it's now 11:58. Just a heads up for Concordia, you might want to start thinking about, maybe not right now, give it about another 5-10 minutes of taking cover from that particular cell. If it holds together, hopefully it won't, and it may not. Because like I've mentioned off and on this evening, these things seem to hold together for about maybe 15-ish minutes and then tend to fizzle out. But that's definitely something that we're watching, and that might be actually the strongest little area that we're seeing, at least according to Doppler radar, with all of these cells as they continue to move off towards the east-northeast. Again, if you live west of these communities, and for those of you just joining us, I'll give you a kind of a broader view. If you live west, basically on the Kansas side, for sure, if you live within most of the metro, you're cleared from the risk of stronger storms, nastier storms, severe storms. This is the show that's going to continue plodding off towards the east. This is going to be heading towards 65 Highway. Want to give an early heads up, and again, this is an early heads up for you folks out towards Carrollton, Marshall, Sedalia, potentially Clinton, Leeton. We just took a little power hit. That, you folks have a big issue with these overnight little spin-ups. How many times have we talked about Pettis County? How many times have we talked about Johnson County? How many times have we talked about Saline and Carroll County? So just give you a little heads up about all this. Odds are a lot of folks there are going to be woken up by the thunder as it approaches. You still have a solid hour, I would say, of advance notice, but watch for these storms as they continue to move off towards the east-northeast. I'm seeing actually a little bit of a reduction now in some of these tornado warnings. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head. We've got that one into Ray County, north central portions of Johnson County on the Missouri side. Those are the two tornado warnings. Jacob, can you help me out with that?
Yeah.
That's what we've got, right?
Yes, and both go until 12:15.
Okay,
so
good.
That's what we're watching here. And I just kind of wanted to show the overview that even further south along I-49, we have several active tornado warnings down just to the north side of Joplin, down towards Nevada. So this is kind of turning into this embedded line of rotation, damaging winds, and a couple tornadoes that we were telling you that had the potential for here through the overnight hours. So again, as Joe was saying, inside the 435 loop in the Kansas City metro, yes, there's loud thunder. Yes, it's still raining and storming outside. The tornado and wind threat has ended for those of us inside the 435 loop and also anywhere on the Kansas side. Our severe weather threat has ended. We still have these 2 tornado warnings, one up here in Ray County. That is continuing here for Richmond and points up towards the north and east until 12:15, and the one Joe's been showing you down towards Pittsville, Fayetteville, just north of Warrensburg and 50 Highway. That also goes until 12:15. So I want to bounce back up here to the Ray County storm, give us an update. It looks like the rotation has just moved through downtown Richmond and is now crossing 13 Highway. So we'll see here within the next couple of minutes, this may need to be extended downstream if the rotation continues to hold together. As we look at our wind mode here on Fox 4 radar, I'm not seeing really strong signs of rotation like we saw when the likely tornado moved through Orick, Missouri about, say, 20 minutes ago. So that's good news. Still some damaging straight line winds possible with this, and there may still be an embedded tornado, but it's hard to see with our wind speeds right now. There's the straight line winds, 60 to 70 miles per hour. So we still have the severe weather threat with straight line winds, even if there's not a tornado on the ground right now. On our reflectivity or just the rain mode here, I'm still watching the area that's just now north of Richmond for possible rotation. If there's going to be another spin up, that's where it's going to be here, just between Richmond and Dockery, now passing to the east on 13 Highway. So Morton, it's heading towards Highway A and further up towards the north. I'm going to put a storm track on this for us, moving about 50 miles per hour or so up towards Morton and Millville. And if it holds together, maybe moving up towards Highway K instead here soon. So Morton 1206, Millville 1209, Rockingham at 1212. So these are the zones in Ray County. Continue to stay in your tornado safe place. Downtown Richmond, I think, is now past the rotation, still strong storms, and places further south that were earlier in the morning, places like Orick, Henrietta, even Lexington and Napoleon there in northern Lafayette County. We are now in the all clear from the severe weather threat there. So this is our northern tornado warning. We still have the active tornado warning further south down into parts of Johnson County, Missouri, and Joe's keeping an eye on that storm.
Yeah, and they've issued a new tornado warning. This is going to be for the southeastern portion of Lafayette County, northeastern Johnson County on the Missouri side. This will go until about 12:30. A couple of notes. I'm appreciative of my colleagues down at the National Weather Service for issuing these warnings in roughly 30-ish minute chunks, because they recognize as well that these little spin-ups, these little mesovortices don't necessarily last as long as what we see from a typical supercell thunderstorm, you know, the ones that come through between 4 and 8 o'clock in the evening, those real powerful things, those could stay on the ground for an hour or whatever. These are vastly different, but it's certainly, you know, that little part of this whole thing is a concern. It's about to move out of that one tornado warning, and hence the reason why we've issued this new tornado warning. This would include Allville, Alma, Concordia, although I really think it's going to pass south of Allville and south of Alma based on that trajectory. You folks in Concordia, like I mentioned, you know, let's keep an eye on this. Highway 23 points west, but particularly Highway 13 points west. This is the county line right in through there. So we've seen these little areas of rotation for whatever reason for tonight just kind of straddle these county line areas. So we're throwing out a lot of counties to you. That's basically because they're just sort of right on the edge of all these different counties. There's not a lot in the path of this, but again, around Missouri Highway 13 west of there, once you, if you know anybody who lives down there, go ahead and take cover from that storm. Safe spot that you probably know well, some sort of interior room, basement, storm cellar if you have one, something with a lot of walls, lowest level of your home or apartment or whatever you may have. If you have a mobile home, just be aware that regardless of whether or not this is a tornado or just an area of enhanced stronger winds, knocking out power, something like that. 70-mile-an-hour winds can certainly do some damage and can tip over a mobile home. So I want you folks to be careful with this as it continues to move into the far northern reaches of Johnson County on the Missouri side, and then eventually crossing over towards southern reaches of Lafayette County, south central Lafayette County. If you know anybody coming along I-70, coming in from central Missouri, particularly if they're around the Sweet Springs area and they're driving westbound towards Kansas City, perhaps late this evening, may want to just get a hold of them. Don't text them. I don't want them distracted. But if you can, maybe just give them a call. Just tell them to be careful, all right, with that little cell that's coming up towards the I-70 corridor on the assumption that that area of rotation lasts that long. And it may not, all right? Very fair to say. It may not, but I'll just kind of give you a little perspective on this. It's, well, let's see. It would be roughly, I'd say about 10, maybe 15 miles or so towards the south and west, about 12 miles west-southwest of I-70. All right, so again, like I mentioned, if you know anybody along that I-70 corridor, Concordia westward, south of Allville, that general vicinity, just give them a heads up that we've got an area of circulation down there, not to our knowledge right this second producing a tornado, but it's something that we need to watch as it moves off towards the east-northeast. And again, we'll put a little track on this for you just to see if we run into a few towns. And sure enough, Concordia, that's an area of concern, and looks like the radar just updated. So let me give you a better track. And it already looks like that little circulation may have weakened just a little bit. And that's, the thing with these little circulations. They pulse up, and then they kind of shrivel, but it's still there. So you folks in Emma, 1222, Elmwood, 1228, Concordia, 1217, assuming it holds together. So you've got about 10 minutes to go. Let's get back over to Jacob.
Okay, Joe, so just got an update from the National Weather Service. Further south on this line, it looks like we're about to get a new tornado warning further south towards Chilhowie. The Ray County rotation has really weakened. So Ray County, the warning continues for about 5 more minutes, but overall our focus is now shifting through Lafayette, Johnson County, Missouri, and in towards Henry County, Missouri. There's Chilhowie, there's Leeton, and we're seeing rotation tighten up a little bit south of Warrensburg. And so that's an area now that we're going to have to keep an eye on as well. So kind of 2 rotation signatures. Joe's been tracking one up there in towards the Lafayette and Johnson County line. Now there's one on the Henry and Johnson County line. And I want to zoom into Chilhowie here along the 2 highway corridor rather, and query these wind speeds because these are pretty strong winds down here between Chilhowie and Leeton, about 90-mile-per-hour rotation. That's where we could see a brief tornado touchdown again on the leading edge of this line of storms. So there's still kind of 2 zones that we're looking at. That one further south towards Chilhowie, the other one up towards the Lafayette County line, approaching Concordia. And both of these are where we're looking at the highest threat for possible rotation right now. So as we turn on our rotation tracker, I think it's going to kind of agree with us that these are the 2 zones. And it looks like even this further south zone is where we're seeing maybe some stronger rotation. That was the warning that we had down near Urick and expired. And now it looks like it's tightening up again further down towards Chilhowie and Leeton. So that's a zone we're going to have to watch. Southern Johnson County, not seeing a tornado warning right now, but based on my analysis here, I would go ahead and seek shelter in Leeton and southern Johnson County, Missouri here for the next couple of minutes. Joe, you're kind of seeing that
I'm
as
nodding
well.
with Jacob.
Yeah,
they're going to issue a tornado warning on that here very quickly, probably within the minute. So a new tornado warning coming out for the southeastern portion. All right, this will be Johnson County, southeastern portion of Johnson County. There it is coming out right now. I'll give you a little time. Actually, it's plotted up. There it is. This will be roughly up until 12:45 for the southeastern corner of Johnson County. 12:45 for southeastern Johnson County. Concerning that rotation, again, nothing confirmed on the ground at this point. This is east of Chilhowie, just towards the west of Leeton. There's Missouri 13. A little track on this, taking it towards Burtville by about 12:19. Owlsley, perhaps passing more towards the north, and technically Owlsley is not in that tornado warning. Burtville, though, is. Again, Missouri Highway 13 right there. There's Highway 2, and it's concerning this circulation, which is give or take, we'll give you an idea what we're looking at in terms of a distance from Chilhowie. But this is roughly, about 4 miles or so towards the east of Chilhowie and just towards the west-northwest of Layton. So that's the circulation that we're concerned about. And for you folks in the Burtville area, if you live near and west of Missouri 23, over towards Highway 13, Missouri 13, I want you folks in that general area to go ahead and take cover from the storm. These storms are, again, not really producing any noticeable or significant hail. We're not really getting a ton of reports of any strong winds from these storms. I don't want to say it's a tornado or nothing. I don't want to, go down that road. But at least, so far, things seem to be, okay, aside from these just little areas of rotation along the leading edge of these storms, and that's why we've been providing continuous weather for you here, continuous coverage for a while, just because you just never know if one of these little areas of rotation actually can get down and do some brief damage for areas that are being affected. Again, if you live in the metro, you're just getting thunderstorms right now. You could hear the thunder. These are the long rumbles of thunder as well. But for those of you who live right along the leading edge and east of here, so again, just a heads up for Carrollton, Marshall, Sedalia, be prepared. You may want to start thinking about taking cover here within the next half hour to hour's time, should a tornado warning be issued. We've got 4 of them out there right now, including this one down towards and near Concordia, which I want to go ahead and briefly touch on as well. It looks like we got a little something just towards the west of Concordia right now. You can kind of see the little notchy right in through there. That's the little area that we're watching. And let's see what the velocity shows. Yeah, there's still, there's definitely something still going on right along 13 Highway, or pretty darn close to it, just towards the south and west of Allville and off towards the west-southwest of Concordia. We'll give you an idea on how far away it is from Concordia, about 9 miles right now, towards the west-southwest of Concordia. This is where we have one of those, perhaps, attempts at a little spin-up that needs to be watched as it now crosses over Highway 13 and continues to move off towards the east-northeast. That would be probably heading towards Concordia here within the next about 15 minutes or so. They're moving at roughly, give or take, 50 miles an hour. So for that area, especially around and towards the north of Concordia, make sure you're in your safe spot just to be on the safe side. 1219 for Concordia might pass just a little north of Concordia up along 23 Highway, but just to be on the safe side for Concordia, if you live around the Concordia area, here we go with that I-70 corridor. That's what we were talking about 10 minutes ago. I-70 from Concordia westward towards Allville, that general vicinity. If you know anybody who's on that road right now, give them a call. They may want to pull over just for about 15 minutes until we could get that little area of rotation north of I-70, and then they could continue along their merry little way as they're moving off towards the west. So again, if you know anybody along I-70 into Lafayette County, particularly near and west of Concordia, give them a quick phone call just to make sure, that maybe they pull over. Won't take for all that long, because that thing will be jumping over I-70 here probably in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So they could get a little break from driving, let that thing pass over, and then they should be fine as they continue off towards the west. But certainly that southeast corner of Lafayette County is an area of concern right now, as well as what's going on further north of that as well. And here's Jacob with more information about that. Jacob.
Yeah, Joe, so we're kind of getting some updates now. The entire Kansas City metro here has been dropped from the tornado watch, so that's good news. Clay County, Jackson County, Cass County, Bates County, you have been removed from the tornado watch. So the severe weather threat is over for our first row and westernmost row of Missouri counties. Everyone in Kansas, tornado watch is done. Our severe weather threat is over. It's really our Missouri zones here now pushing into central Missouri that we're watching. And there's 2 active tornado warnings. Joe was just showing them to you zoomed in. One in southeastern Lafayette County, one in southeastern Johnson County, Missouri. There's another tornado warning north of Osceola there in St. Clair County. We'll have to watch that as it head towards Benton County as well. So those are kind of the zones we're now watching for quick spin-up potential along this leading edge of line. And I want to show you a wider view of our Fox 4 Tornado Predictor. It's this new exclusive product we've been showing you this spring about the highest spin-up risk over the next hour. And there's been zones with confirmed tornadoes as far south as Joplin. And so Nevada to Springfield is a zone with a pretty high tornado potential over the next hour. Also there near Concordia along I-70 that Joe's been tracking for you, that has a higher spin-up potential here. We'll also have to watch extreme northern Missouri, north of Chillicothe, say up towards Trenton, maybe a brief spin up there. But for right now, our main tornado warnings are just south and near Concordia off towards the east of the Kansas City metro. So I'm going to zoom into these for us. There's 2 zones. One has just crossed Interstate 70, and one is now moving up towards just towards the south and east of Warrensburg. So I'm going to start here with this northern storm because it has just crossed over the interstate and possibly did some damage if it's on the ground there between Higginsville and Concordia. And this is just about to cross 23 Highway there between Alma and Concordia. So again, here in southeastern Lafayette County, go ahead and seek your tornado safe place right now. We have some pretty decent rotation with this storm as it's crossing I-70, and certainly would not be surprised if there's been a spin up or if it's still out there. Here's some of that rotation right along Interstate 70, and as I query these winds for us, just to give us an idea of the strength of this rotation, about 60 miles per hour. It's crossing State Highway KK and Davis Road, and it's just now on the north side of I-70, approaching the northern zone of Concordia as well. So this is moving off towards the north at about 40 miles per hour. Here's the latest forecast track on this, putting it at Alma at 1230, Blackburn 1234, Elmwood at 1235. So we'll see here pretty soon if the National Weather Service wants to continue and extend this further off towards the east there, say down the road and down I-70 over towards Saline County. Further south, we still have this rotation north of Leeton, and this is where we're going to have to watch. It could approach Knob Noster and Whiteman Air Force Base here within the next, say, 20, 30 minutes. Whiteman ETA is right around 1230, so go ahead and seek your safe place there on the base or near Whiteman, Knob Noster at 1235. And those are the 2 zones of rotation now in Lafayette and Johnson County that we're watching as these storms move off towards the north and east. So Joe, if you have any more updates on these storms?
Yeah, actually, I want to take you even further south. We've got a lot of viewers down towards northern St. Clair County, in particular around Lowry City. Have a tornado warning for that Lowry City area. This is the northern reaches of St. Clair County. The reason why I wanted to bring this up, nothing reported on the ground. If there's something on the ground, it's going to be towards the west-southwest of Lowry City. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up right now, about 8 miles or so west-southwest of Lowry City, is to bring Benton County into things. So just a heads up for you folks down towards Warsaw, perhaps Lincoln along that 65 highway corridor, Benton County. This looks like it'll probably be south of Coal Camp, but we'll watch it for the next hour or so. But from Lincoln to Warsaw, just keep in mind what's going on to your west-southwest down towards the northern reaches of St. Clair County. Lowry City right now under a tornado warning. That's going to go up until about 12:45 from my colleagues at the National Weather Service in Springfield. A little bit closer to home, this is a broad area of rotation right now near Leeton, heading off towards the north and east. We'll zoom in just to kind of give you a little bit more perspective on this, get some street names and highways on here for you. Here's County Road V, Highway V. There's Highway 13. So this is basically east of Highway 13, down in the southern portion of Johnson County on the Missouri side. West of there, the threat of tornadic weather is over with. So if you live west of Highway 13, your threat of tornadic thunderstorms is done. If you live, actually that would be Highway Y, I should say, not Highway V. That thing is still, of some concern as it moves off towards the east-northeast. So just a heads up for you folks in the Knob-Noster area. Keep an eye on that circulation as it continues to move, a little bit closer to you. That's going to probably get close to Knob-Noster. Again, we haven't heard of anything on the ground at this point with it, but there could be a little something trying to come down. It probably won't last for all that long, but that's awfully close to Knob-Noster. So if you live in the Knob-Noster area, obviously an area heavily involved with our military and the Air Force Base out there, Whiteman Air Force Base in particular. If you live in some of those apartments around Whiteman Air Force Base, want you to be in your safe spot. Timing on that, Whiteman Air Force Base by about 12:30, Knob-Noster by 12:31, Lamont by about 12:38. And again, that's going to bring Pettis County into things as we take another big old power hit here. That's going to bring Pettis County into things. So this would be along Highway 127. So if you live in Lamont, Knob-Noster, Whiteman Air Force Base, particularly Knob-Noster, Whiteman Air Force Base, want you to go ahead and take cover from this storm. Looks like the worst of that particular rotation is going to pass south and east of Warrensburg. All right, so right now Warrensburg getting a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, locally heavy rains. But again, if you live south of Warrensburg, that area of rotation is just towards your south and east. I'll give you a little bit of a storm track as well for this, or actually a distance, if I will, about 7 miles towards the southeast of Warrensburg. So it looks like the circulation part of this particular cell is going to pass southeast of Warrensburg, but head towards the Knob-Noster, Whiteman Air Force Base area. So again, for all you military families out there, make sure you're taking cover from this storm. Jacob.
Okay, thanks, Joe. So Joe's been watching that storm down in Johnson County, Missouri. I'm watching the storm up here in Lafayette County between Higginsville and Concordia. So these are kind of the two zones of rotation that we're watching with active tornado warnings until about 12:30. So this tornado here north of Concordia has just crossed over State Highway AA and about to cross 23 highway between Alma and Concordia. So this is now on the north side of Interstate 70. We still have some rotation here, and this is moving up towards Blackburn if this is going to hold together here. And it looks like we might be getting a severe thunderstorm warning downstream of this. I want to look at our wind mode here again to make sure that we don't have any tight rotation. There's still some indications that we could have a brief touchdown here on the north side of Concordia, north of I-70. The latest wind speeds here, about 70 miles per hour as it's crossing 23 highway north of Concordia. So again here, eastern Lafayette County, let's still be in our tornado safe place as long as this tornado warning is in effect, because we could have a spin up. These spin up quickly, can touch down, lift, and then retouch down again. So they can kind of hop up and down along the ground as they move off towards the east and northeast. So those are the zones we're watching here. And we'll see soon if our colleagues down at the National Weather Service will extend either of these warnings into Pettis or Saline counties. So they're both nearing the county line. So it looks like our stronger rotation is in Johnson County, Missouri. Still, Concordia north, stay in your tornado safe place. I do want to get back to this southern storm because it's approaching the Air Force Base. So people near Whiteman, Knob-Noster, Burtville, again, hopefully you're in your tornado safe place. We've been telling you now for about 10, 15 minutes, give you some lead time to seek shelter. And if you have anyone that is down near the base that may not be awake or weather aware right now, go ahead and give them a call to seek shelter in an interior room or basement if they can, say for about 15 minutes until this severe weather threat passes. On our rotation tracker, our Fox 4 rotation tracker, I'm seeing decent signs here right over Burtville that the possible tornado is going to track just on the south side of Whiteman. It's going to be a very close call, though. So Whiteman Air Force Base should be seeking shelter. 23 Highway South, Burtville, Owsley there, all in your tornado safe place.